everyone, and welcome to the next episode of MythBusters series, where together with the leading experts in the field of marketing, I'm debunking the most popular myth of digital marketing. My name is Olga Olifirenko. I'm a product marketing lead at Retainly, an all-encompassing customer engagement platform hailing from Ukraine. Today, I'm super excited to debunk the most popular marketing automation myth with my guest star, Cardin Campbell, CEO of trac, a versatile technical leader with 20 years of background experience in marketing and technology. Cardin has worked for some giants like Intel Corporation, Nike, and many more. Welcome, Cardin, and thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How are you? You are broadcasting from LA. Is everything all right there?
Yeah, I'm broadcasting from Los Angeles, and it's a little early for me, but I'm excited to be here to talk about this. This is a passion subject for me. So, yeah, I think it's been a little rainy here, which is unusual for Los Angeles. We're typically seeing 200 plus days of sun, 70 degree, Fahrenheit weather. So it's always beautiful here. But it's been a little rainy lately.
I'm still jealous because I'm broadcasting from Kiev, Ukraine, and spring is very, very slow here today. All
Yeah.
right, I hope everyone already joined. Before we proceed, I'd like to ask audience be active and engage with our speaker. Please put your comments into the comment box. We are going to select the best question and provide you with the exciting gifts from Retainly after the session. So today we're going to debunk the most popular myth of marketing automation. But before we proceed, Cardin, as we have been talking behind the things, you've shared with me that together with your teams, you've implemented marketing automation techniques long ago, even before the actual tools for this appear on the market. Can you touch base on this, please?
Yeah. Today, I mean, a lot of tools are available for the everyday marketer to make things more efficient and more easy. But as a technologist that supported marketing, for much of his career, I, led my teams to build into the ecosystem, into our tech stack, different things that enabled automation and efficiencies that didn't exist necessarily. So way back in the day, when we were on Exact Target, we didn't have, the luxury of send time optimization, right? This new idea of using data science to send to customers emails at the time they will open them at at the best, right? Or the where you can optimize the open rate and the click through rate. So we had to build that in, and how we did that was simply pulling down the history of opens and clicks from all of our customers, and then scheduling the send on a 24-hour clock. Basically, sending it to those who opens, their emails at those hours the most frequent, and that proved to be, very very successful. I think we saw an above 10% open rate and click through rate across the board on all campaigns that we um, used this on. So yeah, we've had to get really scrappy and build things that never really existed before. But it's 2023, thankfully, and now all these things kind of
Yeah.
exist out of the box for the most part, which is beautiful.
Yeah, but it perfectly showcases the mindset of your team that appeared long ago. Um, can you touch base upon the personalization? If those messages that you've been planning to send around 24-hour clock, were they personalized or not? And if yes, how did you manage to do this?
Yeah. So, great question. I mean, similarly, we had to maintain a database within the platform of all of our customers and whether, they bought a specific product or not, and there are any other preferences that we can find. We would store that in a database and use it to personalize every single message that we send. So not just email, not just subject line, those are nice, cool things that you can do to optimize for opens, and get more engagement from your audience when you say, "Hey, Olga," right? Like that's a beautiful thing when someone reads that in an email. That personalization is really impactful. But beyond that, it's like, sticking the product they had when they exited the cart, right? To show them, hey, we still have this sneaker that you like so much, waiting for you to buy. That type of personalization is extremely, extremely impactful. So yeah, we've had to build all kinds of weird and wonderful things to support, the business, when these things weren't really available out the box, like they are today on like platforms like Retainly.
Thanks for sharing. Very insightful. Is there any recommendation regarding the industry which could benefit from marketing automation the most?
I think looking forward, the major pain points that might still exist in the industry. I think there's some progress here, but being able to tap into your existing data warehouse, and pulling data on all your customers, or not pulling, but like having access to all your customers and your data in your data warehouse based on that schema, I think is next. We have things like reverse ETL. That's really, really cool. But I think by and large, most platforms are built to copy data from your data warehouse into its system so that it can activate. I think that's a major pain point. It's great for professionals like myself, because that's what keeps me and people like me employed, right? Because we enable those things to happen, right? But
Yeah.
but I think if we are to embrace progress and to embrace evolution, ultimately, we have to continually solve problems that exist in the ecosystem, so that it can you know free up time to go do other things that's going to be impactful, just as impactful. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm excited to see is, can we build these tools to tap into your existing data warehouse that your data team has already spent countless hours and time building out and structuring the way it is, versus having to support copying it over to another system.
Yeah, so basically it's useful for cross industries, right? Every
Yeah,
industry could benefit from that. All
hundred
right.
percent,
So
100%.
let's then debunk those myths that we announced to our audience, and we already started to receive the first questions. We will take them a bit later. So the
Yep.
myth number one, marketing automation, it's just spamming. That's my favorite one. I
Right.
hear it frequently.
Yeah.
I'm so interested about your opinion on this.
So this is a very subjective question. The answer is, it depends, right? I don't think it's spamming when you have a company and a community that wants your content, right? And if you're adding value to them every day, then it's definitely not spam. But you have some, entities that will try gimmicks and things, and blast emails to everybody in their database just to make a sale, or get a conversion in some way. Like, so it all comes down to the intent. But I think by and large, that's not a marketing automation tool problem. It's a human problem, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the question is valid. I think the who is the subject that we need to look at, and it's not the system. It's the humans using the system that I think are the ones that do the spamming. So the question probably should be rephrased: are humans spammers? Yes. Are marketing automations tools spammers? No. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So we bust the first myth very quickly. So
Yeah.
actually, my point of view is that marketing automation tools can help reduce spam if used correctly, if the quality of the content is good enough, and if you have the healthy audience database, which is also important. So there are certain tips that you can implement in order to avoid spamming, but it has nothing to do with the concept of marketing automation tools,
Not at all. Yeah, yeah.
right?
Marketing automation is just a tool, and it enables for engaging communication with your community, and as long as the intent is that, I think no one would ever think or believe spamming is a thing.
I agree. Right. Let's proceed to the next one, which I like also. Marketing automation is for large companies only.
That is absolutely a myth. No way, not at all. As a startup founder myself now, I run a business that requires us to talk to our customers, and we also enabled the communication of, you know, different ideas from our customers to their fan base, to their community. So we're like a two-way communications platform, so to speak. And we have some customers or artists, like we support independent artists like musicians. We have some of them that have 50 fans, and we help them communicate to those 50 people, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. Like, that is absolutely, you know, uh, a use case where the artist can be looked at as a business and they're communicating to their 50 customers, their 50 clients. That's a micro business in the grand scheme of things, right? So definitely not only for large companies. That is a myth.
But why do you think this myth appeared? So where it originated from? Maybe from the cost of the tools, or
I
people
think
think
so.
that tools mm, are hard to implement, let's say.
Yeah, I think historically these types of things are difficult to maneuver, which is again why my roles have existed across my career, is to come in and help companies and marketing teams, maintain and build these things at scale. I think as these tools improve and get simpler, that idea would go away. I think that's right on the head. You nailed it. Like, I think it's a cost thing, and I think it's also a usability thing. But I think nowadays the usability is pretty good, and the costs have come down quite a bit. So, um, absolutely not. It's not a large company only thing for sure.
What would be your suggestion for small or even micro companies in terms of leveraging such tools? Because if the myth exists,
Yeah,
it means that people are scary or companies are scary. So, what is your recommendation?
companies are scary. I don't think companies are scary. You mean the companies of the marketing automation tools?
Yeah, we had the episode one last week,
Yep.
and we've touched AI, and we understand that people are scared about AI, still considering because they don't feel comfortable of leveraging tools that are smart enough. And lots of marketers now feel scared that their profession or their roles would disappear because of the tools. So that's why I think people in these companies are scary to implement those tools.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think history have always shown us that you know innovative things come around, and yes, it might streamline and make things a little bit more efficient for us humans to live and operate. But one thing that also always happens is that that same technology creates hundreds, thousands of jobs as well, like enabling newer, better, different things for us humans to do. So we shouldn't be afraid of innovation. We should embrace it, because I think the elimination um, is one side of the coin, and that's where the fear is coming from. But if you look at the other side of the coin, there's a lot of enablement and productivity that gets created. A lot of job creation that happens as a result of these new innovations.
Thanks, that's very insightful. So what would be your, like, let's say, final advice on this myth for smaller companies? So just go and grab the technology, or there are some steps you would advise to follow?
Yeah, I think there should be no fear. I think if you have a community that's growing, you should absolutely want to talk to them, and engage with them on a you know weekly basis at the very least, because I think those people will ultimately become evangelists for you and your brand and your company and what you're doing. and share it out. So it's almost like free marketing when you are engaging with them and adding value to their lives. They become evangelists, and there's no better marketing tool than word of mouth. So, but it starts with your intent and using platforms that can help you at scale reach those people. So there'll
Thank
be
you so much.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We will incorporate those pieces of advice into a nice file and share with the audience afterwards. But I think really small and mid-sized business are the most prospecting advocates for the technology because they can see results quicker than the large companies, even because they have more touch points with the customers and less bureaucracy if comparing with large companies, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
All right, let's go to the third myth, which is marketing automation tools and CRMs are the same.
No, I don't think that's true. This is definitely a myth. I think one is a tool, right? And and or set of tools that work together to enable something. And the other CRM is, you know, the process by which you know, facilitate the tooling to engage with your customers, right? So one is, you know, a product, one is a process to simplify it. Marketing automation is a product or a tool, and CRM is more of a process.
Thank you so much for sharing. I do know where this myth comes from because people think that both marketing automation and CRM tools, they work with leads, prospects, or contacts, or whatever, your customers.
Yeah.
So the main difference is that they really do so, but they work on a different stage of sales funnel, right? So once the prospect converts to the lead and becomes a customer, then it appears in the CRM. But marketing automation tools can help you generate those leads, that bring the traffic to your website, to your business. They help engage with your business, communicate with your business before becoming a client. And the nice combination of those tools can generate better ROI for your businesses.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. That's very well said. But yeah, I agree.
Can you maybe recollect some tricky situation related to either CRM or marketing automation tools from your experience?
Tricky situations. Let me think. I mean, there's always, I think personalization is always tricky, right? Whether you're doing it in email, in SMS, push, web, in-app, marketing automation enables comms across the board. And I think personalization is always tricky, and it's always difficult to get it right, especially if you're coming in as a quote unquote lead. We don't know who you are to our website or to our app, and then you convert as a registrant, and then being able to personalize and understand that journey is, I think, always tricky. Yeah, that's how I would answer that. Yeah, and
Is
it's
it
always,
tricky
yeah, go for
because of privacy preferences or not? So I'm trying to understand where the tricky part is with the personalization.
it.
And the cost of mistake is rather high when you personalize the email in improper way
Yeah, so
or communication.
the tricky part with personalization is, I think, the attribution of where they came from, and like how you collected that information from them, um and how they choose to be communicated with, right? So like preference centers and things, like it's the interconnectivity of all of those things, and getting it right. So that's where the tricky thing is. And yeah, like different privacy laws doesn't make it easier either, right? So GDPR or
Yeah,
Canadian laws, the ones in South America. Like it's just getting more difficult as the internet gets more private, right? So I think marketing automation tools and professionals in my seat needs to think about these things, these regulatory things coming in, and yeah, focus more on first party data as much as possible, so we can make the experience, more personable and less tricky ultimately.
it's hard to get something personalized when all that you have is the cookie data or
Right.
the Google Ads ID, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and by the way, we have a great question that relates to our dialogue, and I'm going to show it right now. AI is on the rise now. What is your cool tool stop chart that you can recommend to marketers to use?
There are so many. Oh my god, I mean, like, I feel like every day I see a list on LinkedIn, being shared for all kinds of weird and wonderful things, right? Me personally, I use ChatGPT, for anything that I'm looking to either research and understand a little bit better, with at speed, or if I'm looking to, get some copy written for, either a speech I'm going to give, or an announcement, or anything like that. Like, sitting in my seat, I look to Chat GPT to help curate those different, yeah, content pieces, every day, every single day. But there's a, point solution for almost everything. I feel like, there's like a tool for email writing and sorting through, all the things in your inbox. There's a tool for, there's a million things. Word processor tools that you can start writing. I think it's called Lex, if I'm not mistaken. Where you start writing and you literally get a paragraph predicted and prescribed for you, and you can just hit enter and it's done. On the engineering side, my team uses Copilot to help with, writing code. So even programming is becoming, you know um, more efficient, and productivity is going to increase there. So it's not just a marketing thing. I think it's going to, impact engineering, also, in a good way.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned that you have artists that have like 50 fans or so, and you help them communicate with their audience.
Yeah.
Which tools or which channels do you use or help your clients to use?
Email is, an age old channel, but it is so useful. It's so effective. You get like instant distribution with email. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like one of the highest, e-commerce conversion channels is email, if I'm not mistaken. So email is the age old way, and the way we help our artists communicate with their fans. And yeah, I think we will try to, create other opportunities, but email is the low hanging fruit always.
What about other channels like SMS? How popular this channel is, like text messaging in the United States or globally?
It's
What's
it's
your
it's
vision
very
on this?
yeah, it's very, very popular, but it's very expensive also. So we haven't enabled it, for our particular business on behalf of our artists and their fans, but we can. But the product you're offering them, and the pricing model for it, I think is important. Like, you have
Thank
to
you.
factor that in before you just roll it out, right?
Yeah. There is one more question relating to AI. I think this topic is hot enough, especially after the GPT-4 release. I'm personally the fan of GPT. Yeah. So the question is, did you use any AI tools to create marketing strategy? I've seen one yesterday and so much not sure how good marketing strategy can be created using AI.
Hmm. Um, I think you can. I think I think AI is especially, every other month, as a new version of GPT comes online, um, you can absolutely, with the most recent releases, um, ask it to think like um, a senior marketer or a CMO of a large company, and put together a plan to roll out a new product, and it will do it. I mean, it will do it. How good this plan is, how effective it'll be, is TBD. I haven't used it for that necessarily, but it can be used for that. I've seen some people talk about the fact that they've used it for travel planning. That's a strategy, right? It's like, hey, help me
Um,
travel from here to Paris. I want to stop at some cities in between that have these culture, and it will literally plan out your whole trip in an interesting way. And the beautiful thing is that you get that as a first draft, and then you can use your human mind and intellect and intuition and you know all the things that you know about the world to you know edit and curate it down to perfection. So yeah, I think it absolutely can, and I think we should embrace it, because it only makes things more efficient. I mean, you don't, sometimes you also don't know what you don't know, and it's beautiful when you can be surprised by the tool suggesting things that you may not have thought about. So that's a part of the magic. Is that it has access to tons of data that our brain in our short span of life just don't have access to. So I encourage people to explore and use it, because you know, not to get too philosophical here, but like, our purpose here on earth is discovery. And I think AI, at the very minimum, helps us discover beautiful things about the world and ourselves.
Thank you. I am noting down. I like the phrase "our purpose on Earth is discovering." That's very good one. I do agree with you, and I think that AI can draft the strategy for you, can create a perfect canvas, and you
Yes.
can enrich it with your ideas, with your intellectual properly. But relying only on something that was created by AI may be silly, because then who would be responsible for the results of such strategy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You have to um, overlay your intellect and your understanding of your specific world and universe to make sure that at the end of the day you can be accountable for publishing whatever that thing is, or using it in whatever way that you need to use it.
And it all ends with the good prompt. So in order to AI based tools to create something for you, you have to feed it with proper information.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
order to make it work, someone should stand behind the technology. So my personal advice would be treat those tools as tools, not as substitutes for your
Yeah.
role, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Cardin, based on your like more than 20 years of experience in the industry, what is your vision on combining marketing automation tools and customer engagement platform with AI? I guess in a couple of months we won't see those tools as we used to. Will be something new.
Well, I mean, with my understanding of data science and AI, right? Data preparation is very important, right? To drive AI, to make AI do what it does. It's sort of similar with marketing automation. Like, the data preparation is very, very important. So I think as long as the data is available and we can feed it in the system, that's when the magic will happen with AI. I think it'll certainly be able to draft messages based on historical data that it finds within your data set. Um, Yeah, I think the possibilities are endless. If we're talking about generative AI, because I mean, there's a lot of data science baked into a lot of these tools already, right? Um, but if we're talking about generative AI, I think, yeah, we can maybe see a day where, we don't need image libraries anymore, right? We can just rely on the generative AI to create images within the email copy just by reading the email and like providing a contextual image that fits. So image
Yep.
libraries go away. Like that's less time to prepare an image library to use in the email. Yeah, I can see so many different things like that being um, more, yeah, more efficient, for within marketing automation tools.
Thank you for your insights. I guess we have the last question as we already ran out of time, and I really liked it because it relates to music. Could a catchy song for one of your artists be written by a GPT chat? Of course, it's possible, but can AI create a product that's top notch? Would you trust it to AI? Thank you, Alexandra, for such a great question.
This has been a hot topic in the music industry for the last few months, because we've seen AI do so many cool things. Not just write lyrics, but it's also generated, the vocal, like any popular artist that you might know. Like so there's a lot of cool things happening. Um, would I trust it to create a song? No. I will trust it to help me craft a song. I will trust it to help me maybe, get through writer's block. Like I'll say, hey, I'm writing a song about love and I'm stuck at this line. Here is, feed chat GPT the lines that you have written and say suggest some follow-on lines just to help me with the creative process. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's almost like having a co-writer, but you're using AI and the wealth of knowledge that it has, um, with regards to writing and poetry and all the things.
You could definitely create a good marketing campaign around such a song, like the first song created by ChatGPT. So that's an idea. Yeah,
That's a good one.
thank you so much. All right, I guess it's time to wrap up, and I hope that we busted together all those most popular myths about marketing automation.
Definitely.
And it's time to select the winner with the question, but I think it's obvious.
Yes, I like the music question the best, obviously.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me, Cardin. Thanks you for your valuable insights, and I'm sure that we will have more sessions like this with you because there are so many things to be discussed. Thank you, everyone who watched us. Please follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and other social media for the upcoming series. I promise it will be very interesting. My
Definitely.
name is Olga Olifirenko. I'm here to debunk the most popular marketing myths with top-notch industry experts like Cardin Campbell. Thank you so much. Take
Awesome.
care.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.